Welcome to the channel HTML5 Dev. In this video, I cover how to set up a point system on product purchases with customer profile using advanced custom fields or ACF and a Woocommerce hook. Let's get started. All right, so this is my prototype site. This is where I'm trying to set up some Woocommerce products which will add nothing but points to the user's profile so that user can then go ahead and shop around inside my shop using points. So this is basically part of a bigger application. I am just breaking it down to at the setup part where the points will be added at product purchase. So as you can see, these are the products. In the back end, I'm using this user Moose1 as a subscriber, and if I go to his profile, I find that he's a simple user with a subscriber. But one extra thing that catches the eye is the customer points. So this is an extra field I added to the user profile using ACF so that it keeps record of the points. And this is a numeric field. And also I've created these products, 50 pointers, 20 pointers, and if we go inside the points in this product, it looks like a regular product. It has all the necessary bells and whistles that Woocommerce gives us. I put a little description in here, but the thing to look at is this thing, this extra field that I added to this this product with ACF, right? So now each product will have a point attached to it, and then we're going to connect it to the user, like the user profile here, this ACF field, using the Woocommerce hooks, right? So we will get to that, but before we do that, let's look at custom fields and how they are taking place. All right, so the customer point that is attached to the user, so let's look into that. Now this one was created, just a simple ACF field, but the trick is right here. Instead of anything else, all the other stuff that ACF provides, I picked user role, and as all types of users that the defaults of WordPress and whatever WooCommerce adds, these are listed here. Out of all these, I just picked subscriber, and that's it. So once I did that, every subscriber user started having this extra field in there. Also, I made it a numeric field. The type is number, so that when I use it at the back end, I can calculate it, like a addition, subtraction, all that, right? Because that's the goal. And on the other hand, this Woocom product, check this out. Okay, it is also another simple ACF field, but the trick is right here. As a post type, I chose product, and because of that, when I go to the product, it shows up right here with my description and everything, right? So that being said, let's go first see the whole thing is in action. Okay, so we are back at the store, and let's go see who I'm logged in as, Moose1. That's the same user, and let's check how many points he had. 310. So let's add another 20 points, so it's gonna become 330. Let's do that. Okay, back to the store, add to cart. Okay, we have 2, so let's just add 1, update the cart. Now we're going to be adding exactly 20 points, and that's going to cost us $5. Checkout. All right, since we are already logged in as Moose1, we have all the information available. Let's proceed to checkout. Proceed to PayPal, sorry. And also, while this is working, let me show you, this is the sandbox. See, as you can see, all these transactions already made. All right, so let's pay for it. All right, so now it is set up so that within 10 seconds it's going to take us back to the store, and it does. And let's go to my account. We are still logged in as Moose1. Just to verify one more time, we paid $5, right? And product is 20 self-list points. So let's see in the back end. So right here, if we refresh now, we should see 330 because the 20 points got added, right? So let's refresh. Boom, there you go. So this is the whole point system is about. As soon as the user or customer buys a product, which pays the money, and I just calculated like 25 cents per point, so 20 points would cost them $5, and this is the 20-point product, and it had the ACF 20 points attached to it, and that calculates every time it adds to the client's points. So this is showing the client account that I used, and it just spent this $5. Now let's go back to the sandbox account to make sure the transaction went through. All right, this is right here. This happened just today, and this is making sure that $5 transaction went right through. Now let's go look at the sandbox setup. All right, so here is just a PayPal standard. This is set, and let's go to manage. So these are the few things we have to remember for the whole thing that you saw. In order for it to work, first of all, we need an HTTPS connection, and we need a valid domain name. From local system, it's not going to work, right? And then you connect with all these, your PayPal sandbox email. Make sure these are all checked. Logging, not necessary, but make sure IPN is checked. Enable PayPal sandbox, and most importantly, this, I had to spend hours for this. Somehow I missed this. If you don't fill this out, the Woocommerce hooks will not work. Just this one little thing I missed, and it was not working at all. So please make sure, if you don't know anything else, just my understanding was receiver email was only necessary when they did not match, right? So I kept it empty. But if you keep it empty, the hooks will not work, the Woocommerce hooks, right? And then of course, these guys, you can get them from, Sandbox. And if you go to my channel, there's lots and lots of videos describing how to set this up. Right here, I'm using the 2021 theme, and I just went straight to the function, and this is where I wrote it. So let's make it bigger a little bit. All right, so here I have this Woocommerce hook, Woocommerce payment complete, and this is my function, add points to user profile. And in this function, what it does, it takes one order ID, the current order, that's the ID. So once I get my ID, I collect the actual order, and I get from the order, using this function get user, I get the user who performed it, because this is very important that I get the user, because now I know who to add the points to, right? So also to find out which product they bought, I had to get items, and they give you an array. So they might have multiple products, right? So from this array, I put it through a for each loop and collect the product ID. And once I have the product ID, then I can get the product, the whole object, and then also this is the ACF function that helps me collect the point from the product, because now that I have the product ID, yeah, I was collecting this, but looks like I don't need the product, I just needed the product ID. So this I can probably disable without any issue. Okay, so once I get the product ID, I use the ACF get field, and this is the field name that I've shown before. With the product ID, I have now the product point, and then we move to the user. And this is how ACF tells us to collect anything from the user. I mean, this is the most important point. I mean, setting it up with the user role, not an issue, but how to collect and use the ACF data, that was a big challenge for me. So ACF has great documentation. So with the great get field, you put, this was my field name or field ID for the ACF. And then what they tell you is use the ID, but add a tiny string in front of it, user underscore, and then the ID, and only then it's gonna go to that user profile and collect that field for you. And now here I'm collecting this points from user. And now since they're all numeric fields, so I don't need any conversion or anything, I just straight, that's the reason I used the number field, so that I can straight go into calculation. So once I get the product, point from the product, and then I collect the point from the user, whatever they had before, I add them up. Now I have new total points, and here I'm using a simple WordPress function, which is update user meta, where I send the user, which I collected right here, actually. Yeah, the user object is collected. So once I have the user object, I can just get the ID from there, and then I use the same customer point that was attached to the user role, and then I send the new calculated variable, and that's how the points get added to the user's profile as soon as a transaction is completed. So coming back to this, this is a prototype which just helped me add points with these products to my customer field. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.